The sun that Saturday was brutal, 93 degrees. I'd spent the morning preparing for the annual family barbecue, marinating ribs, chopping coleslaw, hanging string lights across the backyard. Cars lined my driveway bumper to bumper. My parents' favorite relatives were inside, their voices carrying through the windows. Aunt Linda was laughing. Uncle Ray had claimed the best lawn chair. Mom sat in the shade, still recovering from her stroke 3 years ago, but present. Happy. I stepped outside carrying a tray of ribs when Tyler's truck screeched into the driveway. He didn't park carefully. His tires kicked up gravel as he stormed toward me. His face was crimson, the color of rage building for weeks. "You think you can steal Mom and Dad's house from me?" he roared, loud enough for the entire street to hear. Every head turned. Burgers forgotten. Conversations died mid-sentence. He jabbed a finger at my chest. "Tell them how you tricked them into rewriting the will. How you manipulated Mom after her stroke." Gasps rippled through the crowd. I felt every eye lock onto me. My heart hammered. My palms went slick. But my face stayed blank, perfectly blank. That was the first smart decision I made that day. He kept screaming. Veins bulged in his neck. Then my 2 security guys moved in. Carlos was first, 6'2", ex-military, the kind of man whose presence alone made rooms quiet. He stepped between us with the calm of someone who'd done this before. "Sir, you need to leave the property," he said, voice level and professional. Tyler spun on him. "Who the hell are you?" "Private security," Javier answered, already moving toward Tyler's left elbow. Javier was shorter but broader, a wall of muscle in a black polo shirt. He'd been standing by the garage, watching. Tyler thrashed once, his arm jerking away from Javier's grip. For a second I thought he might swing on them. The crowd gasped. Someone's phone came up. I caught the glint of a camera lens. Of course. Everything was being recorded. "Get your hands off me." Tyler screamed, but his voice was already losing its edge, replaced by something more desperate and childlike. He'd realized what was happening. Cameras were rolling everywhere. He tried one last shout as they walked him past the picnic tables. "She's a fraud." The words cracked as they moved him through the crowd, his voice becoming thin and broken. People looked away. Some looked embarrassed for him. Aunt Linda covered her mouth with both hands. Uncle Ray shook his head slowly. I stood rooted to my spot, the tray of ribs still in my hands, my arms crossed over it protectively. Watching. Tyler's truck peeled out with a screech. Silence fell like snow. "My name is Olivia Hayes. I'm 34. I'm the one who always showed up early, stayed late, handled hospital visits, managed paperwork, and made sure every holiday happened perfectly. Growing up, I was the fixer. Tyler was the golden child. I can point to the exact moment it started. Flashback 10 years earlier. Christmas Eve at Mom's Victorian house. Tyler announced he needed $20,000 for a startup. Some app idea after 3 beers. Dad didn't hesitate. He pulled out his checkbook and wrote it immediately. I had just paid off their second mortgage with my entire life savings. $42,000. Months of sacrifice. Working overtime shifts at the hospital. No one said thank you. That night I overheard Mom whisper to Tyler in the kitchen, "We know you'll make us proud." My stomach dropped. The favoritism never stopped after that. It only got worse. Tyler's startup failed within 6 months. He never repaid anything. But he got a new car paid for. Then a condo down payment. Then business school he dropped out of after 1 semester. And me. I got "You're so strong, Olivia." Until today. Until my brother screamed at me in front of everyone. Until the moment when everything I'd swallowed for 34 years suddenly had room to come back up. After the driveway scene, I didn't cry. I walked inside, locked the door, and opened my laptop. My hands were steady. That surprised me. First, screen recordings of every family group chat from the last 3 years. Tyler had a habit of drunk texting accusations at 2 a.m. I saved them all. Next, Mom's email account. I had power of attorney. I searched for Tyler and money. Dozens of transfers appeared. $2,500 here. $4,000 there. $8,000 for car repairs. $12,000 for medical debt that was actually a Vegas weekend. He'd sworn he never asked for money. The emails showed him begging. I created a folder labeled Timeline. This wasn't revenge yet. This was math. I spent 4 hours organizing. Bank statements. Email chains. Screenshots. By midnight, I had a skeleton. By 4 a.m., I had walls starting to form. Sunday morning my phone buzzed non-stop. 97 messages. Cousins, uncles, aunts. Are you okay? What was that about? He said you changed the will, is that true? Mom wants to talk to you. I replied to none. Instead, I showered, dressed, and drove to the bank. The estate attorney had emailed scanned copies of every document since Dad's death. I printed them out, feeling the weight of each page. Original will. Codicil. Trust papers. All signed in front of witnesses. No forgery. No trick. No manipulation. Just Mom's clear handwriting stating the house went to the child who had consistently cared for them. That was me. Tyler's name appeared only in one section. A small cash bequest of $50,000 he'd already spent. The bank records showed restaurants, flights to Miami, jewelry purchases. I sat holding the documents and felt something shift inside me. Certainty. He had screamed at me in front of 40 people believing I'd done something criminal. The will was public record. Anyone could check it. He'd never checked. I realized he didn't know me at all. What I knew was what I could prove. And I could prove everything. Monday I met Javier and Carlos for coffee. Not to vent. To plan. We sat in a corner booth. I ordered black coffee. They ordered the same. He'll come back, I said. Probably with more drama. Maybe lawyers. Javier nodded. He'd been doing this for 15 years. Corporate security, divorce disputes, inheritance wars. Carlos waited for me to continue. Everything stays legal, I said clearly. No contact. No threats. We document. We protect. We wait. I slid the timeline folder across the table. You want eyes on the property? Javier asked. Discreetly, I answered. And I need to change the locks. He has a key from when he lived there years ago. That afternoon I called a locksmith. By evening, every lock on the house had been changed. New keys arrived in a manila envelope, and I sat on the porch watching the sun sink, feeling the first real calm since the screaming started. The house was mine now. Completely mine. Javier and Carlos installed 2 additional exterior cameras with cloud backup. They were discreet, high angle, positioned to capture the driveway and side gate. Battery backup? I asked. 4-hour minimum, Javier confirmed. Cloud syncs every 5 minutes. We'll know before you do. I nodded. That night, I opened the timeline folder and added, security measures implemented. The document was becoming a shield. Tuesday my Aunt Karen called, the family gossip hub. Olivia, honey, she started, her voice dripping with false concern. Tyler says you hired goons to throw him out. Is that true? I let silence stretch on the line. Finally, I spoke. He was trespassing and screaming threats in front of my guests. Security handled it appropriately. She pushed, but the will, surely you can see how it looks. The will is public record, I replied. Anyone can look it up at the courthouse. It costs $15 and takes 30 minutes. Has Tyler looked at it himself? She went quiet. I could hear her breathing change. I didn't know, she whispered. Most of you didn't, I said softly. Because most of you never asked. I ended the call. Then I returned to the timeline, adding her call log as evidence. Not of wrongdoing on my part, of the rumor mill starting. Of how fast misinformation spread when people believed gossip without verification. I labeled the new section, Family Response, Initial. 1 seed planted. Many more would follow. By Wednesday, Tyler had posted a long rant on Facebook. Some people pretend to be saints while stabbing family in the back. Some people smile to your face and steal from you in the dark. Some people are so fake that everyone around them is fooled by their act. But I know the truth. And the truth always comes out. No names. But everyone knew exactly who he was talking about. Everyone understood that he meant me. The post had already been shared 74 times in the family network alone. Comments were pouring in from distant cousins I hadn't spoken to in years. People who didn't even know me personally. People who were just happy to be part of the drama and the spectacle. Likes poured in. Hearts. Angry emoji reactions. The comments were worse than the post itself. OMG, what happened? This is so sad. Bro, family should stick together. My sister did the same thing to me. These people are sociopaths. Praying for you, man. The comments kept coming. Each one a small confirmation of his narrative. Each one a voice telling him he was right, he was wronged, the world was unfair to him. I didn't respond. That was the important part. I didn't defend myself. I didn't explain my actions. I didn't argue or clarify or correct the record publicly. Instead, I did something far more strategic and long-term. I downloaded the entire post, screenshot with metadata, the full comment chain, timestamps, everything. I saved copies in 3 different formats on 3 different devices. Then I pulled the bank records again and cross-referenced them against his financial claims and his public statements. The numbers were devastating when laid out side by side. He had already received over $180,000 in loans from our parents since turning 21. $180,000. Money that was never repaid. Money that had been given with love and hope, and spent on things he'd never earned and never deserved. Each transfer had his signature on the request form. Each one had a date. Each one told a story of dependency disguised as independence, of entitlement disguised as hard work. I created a new section in the timeline, financial history, complete accounting. I labeled it carefully, chronologically, with absolute precision. This was a document that would speak for itself in court. Patience felt like power. Actually, patience was power. Thursday morning, Mom's old caregiver sent me a text message. Maria had been with Mom for 2 years, since the stroke. She'd been there at 6 in the morning every single day, helping her with physical therapy, with medications, with the small dignities that the world forgets about. Maria had seen everything. She'd heard everything. She'd been present in ways that family had not. Your brother came by the nursing home yesterday, the text said. He was upset and angry, asking if I remembered you pressuring your mom about the will. He wanted me to say you'd manipulated her. My stomach dropped, but only for a second. I called her immediately. She picked up on the second ring, her voice nervous. Maria, it's Olivia. Thank you for telling me. That took courage. Her voice shook slightly. I told him the truth, Olivia. I told him that your mom changed the will herself because she said you were the only one she trusted. She said that explicitly. To me. Multiple times over the months I've worked with her. Your mom was clear and direct. I closed my eyes, feeling something release inside my chest. Would you record a video statement for me? Nothing formal. Nothing intimidating. Just what you remember. What she said. What you saw. Your honest recollection. There was a pause. A long pause where I could hear her breathing. Yes, she said finally. I'll do it tonight. I can do it on my phone. I'll keep it simple and true. That evening she sent the video. 3 minutes and 14 seconds. Clear audio. Her face visible and credible, a woman who'd spent 2 years with my mother, who'd earned her trust. She described how Mom had asked her opinion on the will change. How Mom had been lucid, clear-headed, and decisive about her choices. How she'd said, Olivia is the only one who stayed. Olivia is the only one who cares about me, not just my money. The others forgot about me when I couldn't do anything for them. I watched it twice, tears finally coming, not from pain or from sadness, but from relief. From validation. From proof that I hadn't imagined those late nights helping Mom recover from her stroke. That I hadn't imagined her gratitude and her love. Another piece locked in. Another voice confirming the truth. Tyler had no idea how many people actually remembered. How many people had witnessed his absence and my presence. He was about to find out. Friday, I received the first direct threat. An email, subject line blank, from an address that looked completely random, jk9934@tempmail.com. You'll regret this. You think you can humiliate him in front of everyone? You'll regret it. This isn't over. No signature. No specifics. No name. Just a promise of consequences delivered in anonymous cowardice. I forwarded it immediately to my attorney without comment or explanation. Then I did what any smart person would do. I reviewed security footage. Sure enough, there was Tyler. Not at the gate. Not in the driveway where he'd been 2 days before. On my street. In his truck. Parked 2 houses down. Slowing at my curb at 11:47 p.m. Thursday night. Engine running. Watching my house. He'd done it twice that week. Both times captured on camera with perfect clarity. Both times showing the same behavior. Slow approach, lingering for minutes, then speeding away when neighbors turned on their porch lights. I added timestamps to the folder. Every move he made was now documented. The anonymous email. The drive-bys. The Facebook rant. The drunk texts from years ago. All of it. All connected. All part of a pattern of obsession and escalation. I wasn't gathering dirt for fun. I wasn't creating a dossier to humiliate him or destroy him publicly. I was building a firewall. If he escalated, if he showed up at my door, if he made real threats, if he took physical action, the paper trail would speak first. The evidence would be undeniable. The legal system would protect me with facts, not with my words alone. That night I slept better than I had in years. Not from triumph or satisfaction. From security. From knowing that I'd prepared for the worst and documented everything. Saturday, 1 week after the driveway explosion, I hosted nothing. No apologies. No second barbecue. No family gathering or peace offering. Instead, I met my attorney downtown in her office. 43 floors up, windows overlooking the city skyline, a space that smelled like leather and old books and confidence. Her name was Patricia Reeves. She'd been handling my parents' estate for 5 years. She was sharp, unflappable, and she didn't suffer fools. I spread the timeline folder across her desk with deliberate precision. Screen recordings. Email chains. Bank statements spanning 15 years. Maria's video testimony. The anonymous threat. Security footage timestamps. The Facebook rant with all comments. Photos of the will, the codicil, the notary stamps. Affidavits I'd requested from witnesses. Everything. Her eyebrows rose with each piece of paper. Her expression shifted from professional to impressed. This is airtight, she said finally, sitting back in her leather chair. If he sues for undue influence, we counter with fraud and defamation. If he continues the threats, we have a cease and desist with teeth. If he pursues the lien, and I suspect he will, given his pattern, we have grounds for sanctions and potentially perjury charges. She tapped the stack of documents. But here's the thing, he doesn't know what you have. Let him think he's winning. Let him escalate. The deeper he digs, the more evidence he creates for you. Let him condemn himself. Driving home, I passed his favorite bar. The one he'd been going to since college, where he'd spend 6 hours nursing 2 beers and telling stories about his potential and his bad luck. His truck was parked out front in the afternoon sun. Through the window I saw him laughing with friends, gesturing wildly, performing his character. He hadn't learned anything. He wasn't worried. He wasn't scared. Good. Arrogance was about to become his signature. Sunday the family group chat exploded like a pressure cooker finally releasing steam built up over weeks. Tyler posted, "Some people think money buys loyalty and family respect. Wait till court. I'm going to expose everything she's done." The chat lit up immediately with confusion. Question marks. Worried emojis. Confused comments. What's happening? Is this about the house? Tyler, are you okay? Should we be concerned? One cousin asked me privately, is he really suing? Do you need help? Should we be worried about you? I answered with 3 words, he can try. Then I did something calculated and strategic. I uploaded the public will excerpt, just the signature page and the date, nothing more, to a private Google Drive link. No commentary. No explanation. No emotional appeals. Just the facts. I sent it only to the 3 most vocal skeptics in the family. The ones who'd been whispering doubts about me the loudest. No message. Just the link. Within 10 minutes, my phone buzzed. One of them had downloaded it. Within an hour, all 3 had. Within 2 hours, they'd shared it in the main chat without asking permission, just posting it as evidence. Tyler doubled down with emojis and memes, trying to make it into a joke. Trying to regain control of the narrative. But the tone had shifted fundamentally. People were looking. People were thinking. People were questioning his story for the first time. I saved every message, every timestamp, every screenshot. The tide was turning, one piece of evidence at a time. Monday I received a call from Uncle Ray, Dad's brother, the one who never took sides, the one who'd been distant after Dad died, not out of coldness, but because grief had made him quiet and withdrawn. I went to the courthouse, he said without preamble, his voice carrying weight. Read the codicil myself. Got a copy certified. Your mom was lucid, Olivia. Sharp as a tack. Completely coherent. Tyler's story doesn't hold up. It doesn't make sense when you actually look at the facts. My chest tightened with emotion. I owe you an apology, he continued, his voice thick with regret. For not asking sooner. For letting the doubt creep in. For believing gossip instead of looking for truth. We all owe you one. I didn't say it's okay. I said, thank you for looking. That means more than you know. Thank you for caring enough to investigate. He hesitated, and I could hear him breathing on the line. She really did love you best, didn't she? Your mom. She loved you best. I couldn't answer that. Not without breaking completely. I have to go, I said softly. Thank you, Uncle Ray. Thank you for that. That conversation went into the folder under witness corroboration. Each honest voice chipped away at Tyler's narrative. With every person who looked at the documents themselves instead of just believing his version, the structure of his lie weakened incrementally. I wasn't fighting for the house anymore. I was fighting for the truth to be seen. Tuesday Tyler showed up at my gate unannounced. No security team warning me, no preparation. No screaming this time. No aggression. No performance. He stood outside, hands in his pockets, looking smaller somehow. Diminished. Defeated even. Can we talk? He called through the intercom system. I watched through the camera feed. His shoulders were slumped. His jaw was tight. He was testing. Not without witnesses, I replied through the intercom speaker, my voice calm and professional. He laughed, a bitter sound that echoed down the driveway. Still playing the victim. Still the innocent one while the rest of us are monsters. I didn't answer. Silence was the only response he deserved. Silence was more powerful than words. He lingered for 10 minutes, shifting his weight, checking his phone, looking lost. Then he left without another word. Footage saved and catalogued. Added to the timeline under behavior documentation. Pre-hearing contact. I added body language notes. Slumped shoulders, forced casualness, hand-wringing. He was testing whether the storm had passed. Whether I was backing down. Whether he could still win this fight. He was wrong about all 3 assumptions. I was simply waiting for the perfect moment to let it break over him. Wednesday, the twist that changed everything. My attorney called while I was at work, her voice controlled but excited. Tyler filed a frivolous lien against the property this morning, she said. Against your house. In his own name. With his signature on everything. I exhaled slowly, feeling the pieces move into place. Perfect, I said. She laughed. That's a felony-level mistake if we prove bad faith. Which we absolutely can. This lien triggers automatic title review by the court. Every transfer, every signature, every notary stamp will now be scrutinized by the county. He just handed you subpoena power on a silver platter. The thing about revenge is that it's not always about what you do. Sometimes it's about waiting for your opponent to do exactly what their nature demands. To follow the path that their arrogance has already carved out for them. Tyler had just done that. I opened a new section in the folder, Legal Missteps, Tyler's Own Evidence. His arrogance had finally overreached beyond recovery. The game shifted from family drama to public record. From his word against mine to documents and court proceedings and official scrutiny. I leaned back in my office chair, staring at the ceiling, feeling the weight of control settle onto my shoulders like a familiar coat. This was the reversal I'd been patient for. This was the moment everything changed. Thursday the Lear news leaked in the family chat, not from me, but from Uncle Ray, who'd gotten a call from his lawyer friend, who'd mentioned it casually, who'd posted about it in the family group. Just heard something weird about a lien against Olivia's house. Is that related to the will stuff? Tyler tried to control the narrative. He posted a long explanation about protecting his rights and ensuring due process and other legal-sounding phrases that meant absolutely nothing when you understood what a frivolous lien actually was. Aunt Karen replied, what does that actually mean? I sent one line to the chat, it means the court will now verify every document independently. Silence followed. The kind of silence that comes when people realize they've been betting on the wrong horse. Then Uncle Ray posted, I'm calling my lawyer friend. This smells wrong. Tyler tried to backpedal with laughing emojis. Trying to make it into a joke. Trying to diffuse the tension. Too late. I pulled the official lien filing from the county portal. Public record, anyone can access it for free. His signature. His address. His sworn statement. Every word of it a nail in his coffin. I added it to the growing pile and labeled the section self-incrimination. The dominoes were falling faster now. Each one hitting the next with accelerating speed. Friday Maria sent another video. This time she recounted something she'd remembered. Something that had bothered her at the time but she'd filed away in her memory. Tyler had visited Mom at the nursing home. This was weeks before the codicil was signed. Maria had been in the hallway, getting supplies. She'd heard Tyler asking Mom for money, pressuring her, saying he was in trouble, saying he needed help. The nursing home had hallway cameras. I pulled the timestamp, matched it to the bank records. The money went straight to Tyler's car payment. A week later, Mom had called her attorney. A week after that, she'd changed her will. The causation was undeniable. The chain of events was clear. I forwarded everything to Patricia. She replied instantly, we can motion to dismiss his claim and seek sanctions for the frivolous lien. This is destruction of his case. This ends it. The walls were closing in. Tyler still thought he was winning. I hadn't said a word publicly. Silence was deafening him. Saturday, another twist that shifted the balance further. Tyler's girlfriend of 3 years, Lauren, messaged me privately on a platform where he couldn't see her communications. I need to talk to you, it said. He told me you forged everything. But I saw the will copy you sent Uncle Ray. I believe it. I'm done covering for him. She attached screenshots. Screenshots of Tyler admitting to her that he'd already spent the inheritance. That he'd been spending Mom's money she'd loaned him, for months before the will change. That he had no actual claim to the house because he'd already received way more than his fair share. He'd been lying to everyone, including his girlfriend. I thanked her. Saved everything. Asked nothing more. Her exit was the crack that would soon split his support wide open. I added her messages under confession by proxy. Sunday I received the court notice. Hearing scheduled in 30 days. Tyler would have to appear and defend the lien. He'd have to sit in front of a judge and explain why he'd filed it. What grounds he had. What evidence he could produce. Spoiler, he had none. I prepared a binder, chronological, tabbed, color-coded. Every lie had a corresponding document. Maria's videos. Bank statements. Email chains. Affidavits from witnesses. The anonymous threat email. The drive-by surveillance footage. Lauren's screenshots. The Facebook rant with timestamps. Everything organized with military precision. Patricia reviewed it and said quietly, "This isn't just dismissal. This is perjury exposure." That evening Tyler tried one last drive-by. Security footage caught him idling at the curb for 8 minutes before speeding off. Engine running. Hands on the steering wheel. Staring at my house. Desperation was setting in. Monday the family chat went nuclear again. Tyler accused me of turning everyone against him. Uncle Ray replied, "You turned them yourself when you lied about the will." Tyler raged in all caps. 3 consecutive messages, each one increasingly unhinged. Then he went silent. I knew what came next. History said double down. Sure enough, Tuesday he emailed me. The email was poorly written, barely coherent, but the message was clear. He wanted me to transfer the deed to his name, split the house value 50-50, and end this insanity. He was asking for half the house. He was asking for a bribe. It was extortion. I forwarded it to Patricia with one word: evidence. Wednesday my attorney filed a motion to dismiss the lien with prejudice and requested sanctions. Attached, the full timeline, Maria's videos, bank records spanning 15 years, Lauren screenshots, the lien document, the settlement demand email, every piece of evidence, perfectly organized, impossible to deny. Tyler was served Thursday morning. I watched the process server's bodycam footage, him opening the door in sweatpants, face draining of color as the papers were handed over. He didn't yell. He didn't rage. He just stood there, staring at the envelope. The reversal was complete. Friday, final twist before the hearing. Tyler called Mom at the nursing home. The staff recorded the call per policy. Tyler's voice. "Mom, listen to me. You need to fix this. You need to call your lawyer and rewrite the will back. You need to tell them you made a mistake." Mom's voice came through, weak but clear. "I made my choice years ago. I made it when you kept asking me for money and Olivia kept showing up without asking for anything. I made it when Olivia held my hand through recovery and you were too busy to call. I made my choice. Live with it." Then she hung up. 30 seconds. That's all it took. Every pillar he'd built his story on, family support, parental love, moral high ground, crumbled in that 30-second exchange. He had nothing left but the truth he'd tried so hard to bury. The courtroom was small. Wooden benches. Stale air. Tyler arrived in a cheap suit, alone. No lawyer. The judge reviewed documents in silence. Patricia presented the binder methodically. Tyler tried to interrupt twice. The judge warned him each time. When Maria's video played, his shoulders slumped. He knew it was over. The judge dismissed the lien. Sanctions ordered. $8,400. "Perjury is a crime, Mr. Hayes," the judge said. "Consider yourself fortunate today is civil." After court I didn't gloat. I walked past him without a glance. That evening I uploaded a single post to the family group. A photo of the will's signature page next to Mom's hospital wristband from the day she signed the codicil. Caption: "For anyone still wondering." Within minutes relatives began messaging apologies. Tyler never responded. His Facebook went dark. The silence he once mocked became permanent. Months later the house is quiet. I still live here. Still pay the taxes. Still visit Mom every Sunday. Tyler moved out of state. The family doesn't speak his name often. When they do, it's with the tone reserved for cautionary tales. I never screamed back that day in the driveway. I didn't need to. I simply documented the truth. I waited. I organized. I let him dig deeper until the weight of his lies crushed him. Truth, patience, and timing did the work. Sometimes revenge isn't loud. Sometimes it's simply letting someone fall from the height they built themselves. The driveway is clean now. The house is mine. And I finally feel at peace.